All right, good morning, guys. Back at it again with another MLB DFS video. Just to kind of go over yesterday's slate was not fun. Um, very,
Yeah.
very disappointing on the guys that we picked. But what were your takeaways from it?
So I don't know if we necessarily landed on the wrong spots, but obviously didn't come through. I mean, the cards, they looked really good in all projection systems and grading environment. At least it has been playing that way so far this year. And they had a team total like near approaching five. So we had a three-man stack of the cards. Goldschmidt didn't even do anything. When you pay up for max price bet and it gives you three, you're pretty much sinking away. And then we had Brandon Lowe as our one off. You got like what, six, nine, nothing crazy.
Something like that,
And then our four-man stack was the middle of the lineup for the Toronto, and they were projecting the best all day, and then uh, they didn't really do much. So is what it is. We're just gonna keep following the numbers, and hopefully today we land on the right things.
And Framber Valdez looked kind of crappy, and next thing you know, he's just not getting as many strikeouts, but going the innings, and then he ended up with like 46. I just
Yeah.
remember like not checking anything. I'm like, how does he have 46? And then, they lost, so he didn't get the win points, but it's a new day. 105 Eastern start time, very early. Well, early than what we're used to, but you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's start with stacks. So I'll just go off the five top stacks on stochastic. Rays again against Washington, easy. Cardinals against Atlanta. I don't know if you want to take a shot at that or not, but I'm not really feeling that. Houston against Detroit looks pretty intriguing. Atlanta against St. Louis, kind of, but Mikolas is pitching again, I think this is his debut or something for the season. Boston and Pittsburgh. Tampa, clear favorites, like by a mile. Like everything is just projecting amazingly. Who are some other stacks that you're targeting? Some that maybe not a lot of people are looking into.
So, like you said, if you want to go the chalk route, Tampa on all sites is projecting just fantastically. They also ran a lineup that I kind of like. No low, so no major ownership for him again. But I think Margot Paredes in the three hole, Diaz, Franco, and Rosarina you can all target. So I guess that's one through six. Um, I wouldn't maybe push it past that. Well, I think Walls is probably seventh. I don't know. I never really play him. And then I think I also like Houston. I usually like Houston. They just always look good, at least in home run models too. Um, Bregman is probably my first home run call of the day, and then I like Tucker, McCormick, Abreu, that middle of the lineup, and then some low owned stacks that I might target. I think maybe Milwaukee, but it looks like they might be gaining like about 10% as a stack, so maybe they're not as low owned as I think.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that you said about Milwaukee about 10% stack, they're not going to be as high owned, and a lot of people are going to go to, the top three, four right there. So that's different. Um, before we got on here, I was looking at Ballpark Pal, and the White Sox they're playing a guaranteed rate. They're playing here today. It's windy, at least where I am. It's like raining like crazy, but I don't think it's raining I don't think it's raining in the city. There's just a lot of wind. They have the best home run percentage on the entire slate today. So you can get to a couple cheap bats there. Benintendi, Colas. I'm assuming Colas is still min price. He's like one of our like young prospects that he's all hype. Let me find the lineup real quick. I just saw it. Benintendi, like I said too. Sheets is in DH. He's a lefty. Grendel. Those are just some bets I'd consider, and they're pretty cheap anyway. So even if you get to one or two and then you prioritize a different stack, that's cool as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll agree with the Sox. I saw that the home run percentage was pretty high, or at least higher in that park than most others. So I like those calls. I like Benintendi, like you said, and Sheets looks good in the model, and then I think Moncada probably is the highest home run percentage. So I would go with him as well.
Mhm. Um, I said something to you earlier about Pittsburgh. So here's the thing about Pittsburgh. They are tied with the Cardinals for the second best stack score on the stacks tool. What do
God,
you think of that? Because it's weird. I don't know. Because they're playing Boston, they're facing Corey Kluber. I wouldn't mind taking a couple of shots at some of their bats.
yeah, and a couple of the bats have been running hot, especially Brian Reynolds. I
I
mean,
was gonna say, dude,
he,
he's insane.
yeah, he's been on fire. So I mean, I think, well, did the lineup come out already?
I'm actually looking. I think it did. Yeah,
The
Cruz,
Ballpark Pal
Reynolds,
has. Okay,
and
go ahead.
yeah, Cruz, Reynolds, McCutcheon, Santana, Hayes, Zawinski, Castro, Bay, Delay.
Okay, yeah. On Ballpark Pal, if you go to extra bases, they're popping pretty well. So Cruz, Swinski, Delay, Bay, Reynolds, and those are the ones that are probably prioritized the most. Maybe Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, those are just a couple bats to think about. I mean, don't really, unless you really want to, don't really run a stack, but a couple other bats to keep in mind, just considering that they have the second best stack score, nothing wrong with taking shots on those.
Hmm.
You ready to get into this amazing pitcher slate?
Sure thing.
All right. All
So pitching is pretty interesting today because ownership should be pretty concentrated to about three pitchers. Cole, I imagine, will at least be 25%, maybe pushing 30. And then DeGrom and Javier probably both be about 15 to 20. So that leaves like five or so pitching options that are going to be 10% or lower between Lazardo and Dylan Cease and Shane McClanahan, like Pablo Lopez. Like there's some great pitching options that are going to catch little to no ownership. And I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna go the loan route yet, just depending on my stacks. Like let's say I just run the chalk Tampa, I probably go somewhere else at pitcher. But if I were not to play Tampa, then I'd just play Cole or something. But I think the ownership today presents like good opportunity to get off of the chalk pitchers.
Garrett Cole at 11-1. I mean, I get it, but
Yeah, and
Christ.
with the just the arm talent on the slate, 11-1 seems steep considering DeGrom is 9-9 and Nola is like 9-7 and Javier is like 9 something. So it just seems like it might be better to save the $1,000 on one of those pitchers.
Right. Javier's got a minus 10% leverage, but facing Detroit, it kind of makes sense. Dylan Cease, 2.9% leverage and projected for 4% ownership. I might got to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, you gotta like that. You gotta not like that the ballpark is projected for more home runs, which kind of sucks. But Cease at home, I mean, he should prove to have a nice day. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm really liking that. If you want like a cheaper, I mean, I wouldn't really recommend it just because of all the talent on here, but if you want a cheaper pitcher, Jesus Luzardo, and finally the Twins are not a top stack today.
yeah,
Um,
but now that you say that, they're dropping 10 runs.
yeah, right. It's gonna be Max Kepler 3 home run day, and I'm gonna cry. Um, Yeah, Lizardo's at 9K if you really want, and you can just get better bats. But I mean, I think the best route to go is to get Cease, maybe McClellan. What do you think of Burns?
I personally won't be on him just because I like the other pitchers more, he's at a fairer price than he usually is. Usually he's touching 11K, so 10-2. If you want to play Burns, go ahead. But especially with how bad uh, the Mets looked yesterday. So
Hmm. Yeah, this is a great slate for pitching. There's just too many good options, but
yeah, this is a day I wish Fanduel was a two pitcher site, but
oh yeah,
you got to
definitely.
pick one and die on that hill. So
Exactly. Probably going to be dying on the Cease Hill today, but that's just me. Um, let's talk a little bit about bats. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but
mhm.
any bats that are standing out?
So I like Bregman and the Houston stack, Margot as a piece in the Tampa stack because he might be lower owned than those other Tampa pieces, batting sixth. And then I like Moncada. Those are probably my three favorite guys that hit home runs today.
I kind of want to see that Margot guy's ownership real quick. Yeah, he's projected for 15.
Okay.
Yeah, Paredes is 27, Yandy Diaz 25.
Yikes.
And
That's way more than I thought.
well, and the reason why is because they're playing Patrick Corbin in the Nationals, which it makes
Yeah.
sense. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And we didn't
McClellan.
even, the pitching slate is so good. We didn't even mention Shane McClanahan, and he's playing the
I
Nationals. Like, it's
I
crazy.
I said a little something, but I was like, yeah, McClellan's 5%. Like that's basically all I said. Yeah, I like all those bats. Brian Reynolds has been hot. If you end up doing like a secondary stack of the Pirates, get him in your lineups like, immediately because he's insane. Um, a couple other bats. Let me see this. Hold on. Marcus Simeon is popping out for okay. A Rosarena is popping out a bit. Byron Buxton, no thanks. I'm just looking at the stochastic batting
Hmm.
tool. Those are like the three main guys with um what is this? Oh, percentage of the top fantasy points. I'm not playing Byron Buxton today, I'm sorry. If you want to mix in a couple of White Sox bats because of the conditions as well, kind of like what we were saying earlier, I would do Sheets, Moncada, um, Grandal, Benintendi. If you want to get really weird, you can do Oscar Colas, who's a really young guy, very good prospect. He's projected for 0.9% ownership. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, put him in if you're running more than one lineup, throw him in all your lineups, but kind of just for fun if you want. And he's 2,300, so you can save a little bit off him, but um
I just ran an optimized lineup, just like some random optimizer, and of course it's spewing out Tampa and Houston. So if you want to get different, get off those stacks. But that's where we're landing too, and it just kind of stinks that the field's going to be on them.
oh yeah, definitely. Um so let's end it with this. Instead of Tampa Houston, let's give out maybe two different stacks each and to get a
Okay.
little different. So maybe like if someone's like, oh, I really like Houston, who else besides Tampa? So if it were me, I might have to go with Pittsburgh and the White Sox, but make those your secondary stacks.
Okay. Yeah, I like those as secondary stacks, and they look project fairly well as those top value stack percentages. So I like that, and I like Milwaukee at least for value as your secondary stack. They're projecting as like the second best value stack, and then I think maybe the Braves might be in play at low ownership. So
I know the pitcher's he's okay, but 1% leverage might not
yeah,
be bad to get a couple bats from them. All right. Anything else real quick or
I think that about covers it. Just keep up with our videos throughout the week, and we'll continue to break down each slate. And we appreciate you guys watching, and make sure to like and subscribe.